Hello, Facebook. How's everyone doing today? We are so happy to be back with you on another beautiful Saturday. We are coming to you live from Rythmia Life Advancement Center, located in beautiful Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Hi, Christian. If you guys are joining, please tell us where you're joining from. If you've been to Rythmia before, please say hello. If you are on your way, we can't wait to see you here. It's been another beautiful week. It's been an incredible week full of energy. We've had Taita here with us for the last Wednesday and Thursday ceremonies, and it has been just something spectacular. So many miracles.
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Certainly.
Yeah, so happy to see everyone joining. So if you are interested in coming to Rythmia and you don't know much about us, we are Life Advancement Center, and we focus on plant therapy. So it is life-changing. It's a beautiful place to come and feel and heal, and we would love to have you. You can always call this number above to book your spot. It's going to be a beautiful week. We have Graham Hancock coming up in a couple of weeks, and so many beautiful guests going to be here in the new year. So you guys come on. If you happen to have any questions for us, you can comment, and we will be happy to answer them either during this or at the very end. So yeah, so once again, my name is Lindsay, and I have Celine here.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So happy to have you here this week.
So happy to be here.
Oh, it was so incredible.
Yeah, it was otherworldly. There was a transcendence to everything. There was music to everything. Life was just so beautiful at every particular moment. It was so worth the price of admission. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So when did you first hear about Rythmia?
I heard about Rythmia 2 years ago. I heard about ayahuasca 5 years ago. And that journey of, it sounds crazy. How could I tell my parents about this? Is this actually medicine? Do I even need it? I thought I was a highly developed and highly spiritual person who had everything understood. But I wasn't sure of that until my unraveling in these ceremonies, and then the rejoining of my soul, and then just getting into the medicine and seeing who I've become. And then also healing my heart, the 5-year-old Celine, getting to dance with him, getting to see him and hug him and embrace him, and healing my heart.
Yeah.
And realizing how caged in I had been for so long as a person, and everything I'd been hiding from and everything I'd been ignoring in that whirlwind of busy that we all know.
Yeah.
And to be on the other side of that now, and to have such peace and such clarity and such calm.
Yeah.
And to just know the essence of what true love is, and to have tasted that.
Yeah.
I'm so
Well, we're so grateful that you're here. So today we're going to talk all about his miracles that happened every night while you were here.
Yes.
When did you book your trip to Rythmia?
So it's a funny story. One of the intentions is to merge you back with your soul at all costs. And I realized I lost my soul when I was 5 years old. And I realized that in one of the ceremonies, because my birthday is 5/10/1991, and they're all divisible with 5, which is kind of, no, it's 5. And I actually booked my ticket on my birthday.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's the synchronicity.
Yes, it's crazy.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear us okay? Just want to make sure. Hi, Rhonda. Yeah, okay, so the synchronicity started happening already, even when you made the phone call.
And even before then, I made a vision board and I put Rythmia on it. And when I had the vision board up, I put it in the spot like right next to my bed, and I woke up and I saw it every morning, so it was always on my mind. And it was weird because I lived in London at the time, and I got a letter. I kept getting these letters from the bank in the mail, but I didn't open them. And then when I opened them one day, I came home and I realized that I had money left over from my former job before I moved to London, and it paid for half of my trip. And then I had to just work to get the other half, and then I saw a cheap plane ticket, and it all kind of worked.
Which is actually beautiful, because when you come here, you do half the work here, and then you have to go back
exactly.
home and do the other half of the work.
Exactly.
So you were already learning lessons.
Yes, from the
before.
beginning. Yes. Tremendous lessons.
Beautiful. So you booked your trip,
Mhm.
and then what was it like once you landed here in Costa Rica and actually got to Rythmia?
Well, it was supposed to snow when I left in Baltimore. I'm from Delaware, but I flew out of BWI, and it was so warm. It was so, I just remember saying, okay, I need to take a couple of layers off. And it's the kind of heat that goes beneath the skin. It kind of like gets inside of you, and you sweat a bit. But I remember getting to the shuttle area, being whisked away, being offered water, fresh fruit, so taken care of, so loved. It was just an honor to be held in that way, even before I got to the property. And then we arrived, and I remember thinking, this is an oasis.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing the palm trees and the Buddhas and the Jesus, and then all the little, I don't know the men, the little guys that you have sitting around in the hammocks. And we sat down, and we immediately were offered our bag and our water. And we got a schedule that was clean and clear and a lay of the land. And I remember thinking I made the right decision. And everyone was just, their aura had this beauty and this sincerity that I think is missing from humanity presently. And we're definitely on that cusp of a dramatic transformation. And I think Rythmia is at the forefront of that paradigm. Totally.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So did you arrive on Saturday or Sunday?
I arrived on Sunday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you got to experience the breath work the
Oh
night
my
that
God.
you got here. How was that?
So I didn't realize like how tremendous breath work was. Like, I thought I just needed drugs to experience that kind of just like release and that kind of ease. But it was weird, because in the beginning I was like, oh, it's just breath. Like, I've done this so many times in yoga. I've been here. I know this. Again, I got this. That self-awareness that I thought I had. And I remember laying down, and I couldn't get my breath together. And there was a young lady who came up, and she said, you're doing a great job, but breathe into my hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I breathed into her hand, and I felt my rib cage expand in a way it hadn't before. And I just got deeper and deeper to the breath, and I shook everything out of me. And I realized I'm a poet, and I didn't realize how much tension I was holding in my hands, and I had to keep shaking it and releasing it. And then a scream literally came out of my body. And then we did the deep breath, and it was the hold your breath as long as you can. And then I held it, and I held it for way longer than I ever thought I could. And it was so weird, because when I released it, you know how you can scrunch down a paper bag, and then it just like, it goes down, then it rises out? My body literally rose out, and it was all of this pressure and life that was coming out, and a thought came into my head immediately, and it said, you hate your father. And I said, no, I don't. Like, what are you talking about? Like, higher self, what do you mean? Like, I love him, I live with him, he's the fiber and essence of who I am. Like, how could this be? And I remember thinking, this isn't right. Like, this is not right. Something is in my brain. It's not going right. And then another voice said to me, you can only hate him this much because you love him so deeply. And I said, wow. And then I started to cry. And I realized how much I love my dad, how much I missed him, how much I yearned for a deeper connection that I thought was missing after I came out, and how we kind of separated a bit spiritually and physically. And yeah, and then it leads perfectly into the very first ceremony that transpired.
So just for the breath work, you were already starting
Yeah.
to have
To experience my miracle.
and to release.
Yes.
So it doesn't just happen with a plan. You're like, I've been breathing my whole life,
Yes.
but
Right.
you really breathe deep into every cell in your body.
Yes, every fiber in your being.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a different experience.
Totally.
So you said that leads into Monday. So
Yeah.
so Monday you started, we had yoga, we had the opening talk, we have classes. How was Monday before ceremony?
Monday before ceremony was incredible, because I was relaxed in a way that I hadn't been, because I had 3 jobs. So I'm a poet, I own a little bookstore, I teach, and I also do poetry workshops as well. So I had so much running around, and I just realized that first day I hadn't actually really slept peacefully in such a long time. So I woke up refreshed. I had breakfast. The pineapple juice is nectar. It's literally the best pineapple juice I've ever had. So I had the pineapple juice and I went to yoga at 7 a.m. with Sarah. Oh God, she's an angel. She literally is a ray of all that is. Like she is just she's a transcendent being. And I had yoga with her and it was just, she was very relaxed. And she led us through each motion with such love and such tender care. And I was able to like stretch my wings. I know I'm a bird now, but I was able to stretch my wings and just take in the breath and see the sun come through the glass and just be one with nature and one with my body. And it just eased into the classes that we had that day. I can't recall if Ames or Lewis that day, but that was a brilliant class. And we also had Jerry on, he spoke, which was tremendous. Like he's on another level. Yeah. Like when I first was watching the videos, I was like, okay, he's a lot. he's a lot. But it comes from a place of humor and healing and how much he's overcome so much. Yeah. And just to know that and to know his beginnings and how deep and low and dark and guttural of a place that he came from. And to rise to where he is and to share this space humbly with us all. Yeah. Yes, it was a great day to be able to have that integration. And I can't imagine being somewhere else and having this journey with a language barrier, and I hate bugs and like I'm a little with like a net, and I think we have to honor all of our experience of ayahuasca no matter where we get it. There's no shame if you do it in the basement, if you do it in Peru, if you do it here, but having this safety and this ease and then these integrations and being able to talk about it and journal and reflect and have your workbook and every day to learn something new and another way to unpack this journey is pivotal.
Yeah. What a beautiful start to the week.
Yes.
And so much, you said you were relaxed. And I feel like for the people that are watching that haven't been here before, that are nervous about it, it's like, oh wait, people that are coming here that haven't done plant medicine before, they're saying that they were relaxed before a ceremony. So, you know, that is a really great way to go into it. Having yoga, beautiful time with the breath work on Sunday, and feeling good and rested before ceremony. So once ceremony started, you walked in the Maloka, you picked your space. How are you feeling then?
I was so nervous.
Which is so normal.
I was so nervous, like, because you hear, I watched I got my miracle from Jerry to Christian to Candace to Stacy to you, and I would watch it every Sunday in the tub. And I saw so many videos, Ryan Cropper, Supreme Banana, all of them. And just to see their journeys and like how crazy they were and Reality of Truth and all of these documentaries and all of this reading. And I consumed so much that I was so frightened. So we're standing outside and it's so weird because when the sun goes down, Rythmia becomes a totally different place. Like it's sacred and the lamps and the light and the energy is just, it's kind of like heaven in a way.
Well, what about the stars?
The stars at night. Oh my God, the stars at night once you're on medicine are just absolutely incredible. But I remember walking in and being so frightened and afraid and nervous.
Which is completely normal.
Okay, thank you. And when I walked in, I saw the mattress that I needed. Not the one that I wanted, I saw the one that I needed. And I was like, no, it's too close to the door, it's too close to the entrance, it's too much energy. So I walked around and I walked and walked and walked and nothing really felt right. And then I found the mattress on the end and we sat there and we began ceremony and there's so much, the sacred smoke, I'm guessing it's sage.
Yeah, kapal.
Kapal, and it has this, I'll never forget that scent.
Yeah.
It has this ancestral, it smells old. Yeah. It tastes beautiful and it allows you that essence to just breathe and be. And I sat down and then we started with the rapé. Wow. Yeah. Like I've done a lot of drugs in my life. I have, and that was one of the things that I overcame was addiction, like heavily. I purged that out the third ceremony. But that rapé, the sacred snuff.
It's a masculine energy that's in the rapé.
Yes.
And so it is a beautiful dance for the ayahuasca.
Yes.
So it's a great start.
It is, and she did it, and no, it was a gentleman. And he asked me if I was calm because he saw that I was nervous. and he said, we're just going to have your nostril open, and he blew the ceremonial stuff in. And I remember just hit my third eye, and then I started to tear up, and then he did the other one, I started to tear up, and I just felt this calm.
Grounded.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was just saying my intent over and over and over and over and over again. And I just felt this peace. And I just leaned back and I put my blanket on me and I felt so secure. And before I knew it, it was time for the first drink. And they called us up. And I remember being in line and I was okay. And I said my intent and they poured it. And I remember looking at it and I was like, and it was in a shot glass. And I was like, oh, this is a secret party. I can do this. And I remember putting it to my mouth and swallowing. And it wasn't bad at all because I'd done a secret cacao ceremony before for my birthday and I invited all my family. And it has that same bitterness and that same light sweetness. And it was so smooth. And when it went down, I could literally feel it traveling through my extremities. And I went and sat down in my bed. And I said my intention again, show me who I've become, Mama Aya, show me who I've become. And I just sat up in a meditative position and I let the medicine travel through my body. And I could literally feel it like a snake, the way it was traveling so serpentine, like through my veins and the essence of my being. And when it got to my belly, I felt her there. Like I literally felt that.
She was getting to know you.
She was. She was. And it would be amazing if we got to know each other like that and just eased into it. And she had me there. And I remember being calm. And then I just remember crying. There was a yawn that I took. And it was weird because it felt like I couldn't close my mouth. Like I felt like there was a bear trap in my mouth. And I started crying. And I was just like it got to the point where I was weeping.
So you were purging through tears
I was.
and through yawning,
Yes.
which is a huge purge.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I realized I was overworked. 3 jobs is one too many. I was giving my body away in regards to my heart to everyone. I wasn't giving back to myself. And I remember crying and just saying, it's so much. It's so much. It's so much. And then after that, when I said that I literally felt a layer come off.
Yeah.
And then it was the next layer of my family. And it went back to my father. And it was like he took a core part away from you, your self-love. He literally went in and took your sexual energy because you felt like you weren't masculine enough. You felt like you weren't black enough. You felt like you weren't man enough. And when that happened, I literally felt the purge coming, but I held it down. And then they called for the second class. It's magical how they always call for the second class. And I remember standing up, and I was in line, and then I wasn't. And then I was in line, and then I wasn't. And then I was outside of the Maloka because I thought I was going to get sick. And then I was inside the Maloka. And the next thing I knew, I was in line, and I was at the front, and I took the second glass. And that's when the nausea just hit me like a fence. And it was so strong. And I realized I couldn't sit in the Maloka because I was sitting down, and I started writhing on my bed and writhing and writhing and writhing. And then the 2 beautiful shaman ladies who were near me, they were like, do you want to come outside? And that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever heard. I was like, yes, please, yes, please. And I went outside, so I walked through the threshold, and I could breathe again. But then as soon as I took a step down, I stumbled, and I fell on the step, and she straightened me up and held me, and I started to purge into the bucket. And I was letting go. It was pain. The pain of not feeling loved by your own father, by your own mother, by your relatives, by yourself. It was the sadness of having a career that I know, now I know is paying for my future and my evolution.
Beautiful.
And honoring that and just letting go of that sadness. And it was so crazy because it came from such a guttural place. When I was vomiting or purging, I literally saw green and orange hands continuing to try to like grab at me and get back into my body. And I remember looking at the bucket and like pushing it. And I remember I thought the bed was nearby, but having to crawl from the Maloka to my bed and then grabbing my bucket again and purging into it. And just so much pain was just coming out of my body and just writhing in that pain, understanding in my body, in every cell of my being, what I was holding on to. I wasn't even aware that I was going through that because I had the smile, I had a job, I had a family who loved me, I had loads of friends, I was going out every weekend, I was partying it up, everything felt right, but it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't even know that you had all that sadness or any of that deep inside of you. It's the energy that we hold on to.
Yes.
Beautiful.
I had no idea.
So the miracles were happening. You were already having so many revelations.
And that's before I was even shown who I'd become. So I was sitting in bed and it said, you're addicted, you're jealous, you think you know it all, you care so much about how you look and how you're perceived. And Mama was like, none of that even matters to me. We're here to clean the slate. And then I cried like I'd never cried in a very long time. And I realized I was meant to have this healing, to understand myself and also understand my family and have the capacity to help them heal. And then I thought about every member of my family and I blessed them and I thanked them and I cried for them. And then there was another call. No, there was another call for medicine. It was in the ceremony, actually. And it happened so quickly. And that first night, it was a lot for me. And looking back, it was exactly what I needed.
Yeah, she always gives you exactly what you need. It's like an individual prescription for each and every person. And it's nice to find gratitude for everything that's happened in our lives, good or bad, because if it wasn't exactly as it was, you wouldn't have been here doing healing this week.
Agreed, completely agreed.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. So night one, full check, miracles, and you were feeling great after letting go.
Well, I wasn't feeling great after the first night.
Okay.
I went into the second night and I was so nervous because it was such a hard experience. It was such a difficult purging and a difficult level of facing who I've become. And that second night, I was so afraid. And there was a prayer that Sarah gave me, and it was Mama Aya. I trust you. Please be gentle with me. Heal my heart. And that was the prayer that I said. And I remember having a rough day, being in bed, and then going up for my drink. And I literally had my eyes closed. And I said the prayer with my left hand on my heart, my right hand above. And I kept saying it and saying it and saying it and saying it until it was my turn. I took it. And I swallowed it, but I didn't feel it like I felt it the first day. It was an innocent migration through my body. And I just remember, again, it always starts with a yawn for me. I remember yawning and crying and then realizing I was okay and realizing all of this love. And then the music started. And in my bed, I was just vibing like the whole time, just dancing and feeling such joy. Like the whole ceremony, I just danced. And every time something would come up about who I was, I would say, yeah, I felt that way. Yeah, I've done that. Yes, that's me. Yes, I have. And I accepted it. And it was weird because the emotion would come, you would face it and you would swipe it. And then the next one would come, you would face it and you would swipe it. And then it was weird because it's like each part was swiped and I got higher out of the bed until I was able to stand. And then I was just dancing all night long with the music. And the music is just so beautiful.
Live music.
Yes, the live music is so beautiful. And Sarah's, she's a little firecracker, just like you. She had her feather, and she was just like whipping it. And it was so beautiful just to see her in her energy and in her healing space and just cultivating that healing for us all. It was a beautiful ceremony. And after I stopped dancing and I got back in bed, I realized 5/10/1991, and I realized I wasn't just dancing with myself, I was dancing with little Celine. Like we were there together having a good time, like we hadn't danced in so long. And he merged back with me when I was looking at the ceiling, and then I felt this pressure. Like I felt this go into my chest, and I realized he was back with me. And we were together again.
So we're really big on intentions here, and he had the intention of merging back with his soul.
At all costs.
At all costs.
Yes.
And what a beautiful experience that was.
Yes.
Little 5-year-old you.
Yes.
So now you get to go back into life and take care of that little boy and honor him and love him and you know that every time that you look at yourself and you do something that you're doing it for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
So Monday and Tuesday
Yes.
sound like you just already got lots.
Yes.
And then Taita.
Oh.
Whew. How was that?
Taita.
How was Wednesday?
So Wednesday, Wednesday, like, now this is the thing. Yahe is an entirely different animal.
Yeah.
Like, it is incendiary, beautiful, loving, brutal. It doesn't let you escape. It does not let you escape. And it was weird because the first 2 nights going in, I'd been at peace. That third night, I couldn't get peaceful. I was anxious. I was nervous. There was so much going on. And the answer is you with Paula was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, these integration talks and also just having the shaman here to actually talk you through it, because you get so many visions and there's so much information that I was a little overwhelmed. And then we also had the talk back where people were talking about their priatite experiences, and they seemed really intense. And I kind of went in with that energy instead of going in on my own vibration.
Yeah.
So it kind of affected me. But I had my same bed that I had the first 2 nights. I went in, there was no rapé. And he separated the lines between men and women. And it was dark and there was silence. And you really have to face yourself. And it was crazy because we took the yahe and it was in a shot glass that he decided on. It was his dose. And also meeting him. His energy it's otherworldly.
You can just feel it on
You
the
can.
ground. You're like,
You can.
"It's still here."
Yes. And he's not the tallest, but he just had his little t-shirt on, he was barefoot, and like his piece.
Yeah.
Like he's an OG. Like he's a real one. Like he's a real one. And he separated the 2 lines, and the healing began. And you shake your medicine, and it was thicker.
Yeah.
It was so much thicker. And you could taste the bitterness and the bitters and the sludge. It was almost just like coating your throat for truth in a way. It was like, I'm preparing you. You don't know what you're getting, but I'm preparing you right now. And you swallow and you let it sit. And this one for me, it was easy on me, like it going down, but it was heavy. I could feel it in my body. And I remember it forcing me backwards. And she was like, no, just lay down. I got you, but lay down. And I remember when it kicked in, well, when I thought it kicked in, was when I started to feel sick. But then I realized I had to pee, and I went to pee. And then everything just shifted. I started to sweat, and my body felt really, really light. And then I felt tall, and then I felt small. And then the color started to shift, and then it got really dark. And everything was kind of hyper-realized. And I remember laying down and closing my eyes, and everything became green and black. Like there were outlines of everything, but then it was weird because everything was like breathing at the same time, and it was like these green and black lines. I was like, oh, don't want to see that yet. So I like opened my eyes, and I realized like the trees were alive outside, and there was I don't know, I felt like there were people beneath them, and they were just like speaking to us and protecting us, and then there was like outlines of like a pale pink and blue around the Maloka, and you guys are protecting us. And it was weird because I realized also there were aliens outside, but I wasn't ready for that. And I was like, okay, all right, stay where you are. And then there were these scarab beetles who kept coming up in my vision, but I hate bugs. And I knew they were there to heal me. And I allowed them the space to, but I said, okay, can you let me turn around so whatever work you have to do, I don't have to see you? And they were like, they weren't speaking English, but they were like just doing whatever they needed to do. And they opened my back, and they started at my spine, and then they were in the corner of my mouth, like down in here, and then my mouth like went numb around here, and my like cheek. It was so strange. And I think they were like finishing up.
Anesthesia, yeah.
Right, and it was so crazy. And they were finishing up. And I had one on a bender once in Amsterdam. It was amazing. But I woke back up after the bender, and the whole side of my right face was numb, completely numb, and I had Bell's palsy. And they were about to leave, and I said, no, please fix my face, please, please, please. And they went in, and I felt where they went into my cheek, and they went into my forehead and they went into my chin. And I could literally feel that shift and the lightness, like I could feel it back again. And I was touching it, and then I cried. And then I realized that all of this was why I was here, was to not only have this surgery, but to know outside of the veil in which we live, there is a deeper essence, a deeper knowing, there's a deeper orchestration. And it was just so beautiful. And then once that happened, I remember purging. But before I purged, I realized every time before we purge, we're battling ourselves. And we're letting go of that old self or that old thinking or that old poison. And there was one moment when, and it comes in waves, like such dramatic waves. And the first wave was, okay, this is the veil lifted. And then I came back and I was in the normal Maloka. And then the veil lifted again, and I was in this really, really dark space, and there were these dark figures that were like around me. And I realized that I didn't love myself. And I realized there was a period when I wanted to let it all go. And I remember scratching my neck, and I thought it was the collar of my shirt, and it was a noose. And I had to face what I felt for a while in the past after coming out. And it was weird because I literally had to scream to Mother Aya, like, I don't want to die. And I said that to her out loud, and I kept saying it and crying. And then the purge came out. And I asked her what it was, and she said, it was poison. It was your poisonous thinking. It was the drugs you put in your body. It was the alcohol that you used to satiate everything and pretend that it was okay. It was your false face. It was everything that you had been hiding from.
Wow.
And then I remember when I threw up, when the shamans came over, and she said, how are you feeling? Are you okay? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And I looked at her and I said, I let it go. And she was like, well, what is it? I was like, my addiction. Like all of it, like the alcohol, the weed, all of it, it was in the bucket.
Yeah.
And then I was like wiping my mouth, and then she was like, oh, just put the tissues like on the ground instead. And I went in my own vomit to like get the tissues. She's like, oh, not that one. And we both burst out laughing. And it's so amazing because even in the midst of all of that, there's still humor. There's still the essence of sweetness. Yeah.
We let go of the bitterness so we can become the sweetness.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Yes.
So that all happened on Wednesday.
Yes.
Beautiful. And what was it like seeing the sun come up?
Oh my God. Seeing the sun come up, it was like you've never seen the sun until the night after a ceremony.
They say after Yahe you have different eyes.
You do.
Everything, you're like, wow, is this plant always here?
Yes.
Because I didn't notice how pink it was the day
Yes.
before.
Yes. And it was, and I wrote a poem about it, if you don't mind if I can read it.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
please.
So this is post ceremony 4.
Okay.
And it was just, because ceremony 4 was a lot, but I think this just explains everything that I was feeling.
Perfect.
Okay. I am no longer desperate for love, for I had tasted it. This life is so beautiful. The world is so clear to me now. The chain of being is great. A moment is eternity. True desire is not of the body, but the heart. There is nothing but breath. The wisdom of the ages is ever present, especially in plants. This is heaven. The only way to remove the veil is to remove the self. The people we are closest to, we have learned from and loved before. I am a poet. You are a poet. We are healers with words and deed. God is in us all. God is also a woman in the most delicate shades of blue and yellow. I love my brothers. I love my sisters. Everyone, regardless of their physical body, is deserving of love, a hug, and tender care. The required symmetry of existence is nature. There is no such thing as loneliness. I am worthy. You are worthy. We are beautiful. We are free. I am a bird. I am a wanderer. I am a green spirit traveler. Innocence is the unknown. The truth is disguised in the present. The easy answer is love. Rain is merely water pretending to smile. The heart is a dream that follows ecstasy. Happiness feels like a hollow whistle. Trees possess an elegant posture. A hug is a handshake of souls. Laughter disintegrates pain. When you give power to God, you lose your eyes. Gratitude is to have something without complaints and quandary. The devil is your desire to feel darkness. See the wholeness. Eat the helix. We are all a family dragging caskets against time, made whole and innocent by the deception of the human dream. There is nothing else to truth but love. Barefoot is the best form of walking. I saw my brother in a stranger. He smiled at me. I am my freest, dancing in the rain, barefoot, giving love to God, understanding the beauty of a moment like an iguana on a boulder, a statue of Saint Miguel speaking in the night. The earth is made of glue, not gravity. Love is a great, unnameable thing. Freedom is an eye closed, twirling in the dark. Face your faults and feel the world. There is always time to pray. Go outside. Last night I shed my human body and became a body soul of infinite awareness. The only thing that made sense today was joy. Trust is knowing the great connection. I admire the sky. I am shaped by my conflicts. I am shaped by my desires. I am shaped by my love. We are shaped by our knowing. We must unravel to understand. Family is the great reminder. Your father is your greatest teacher. So is nature. Costa Rica is a heaven too bright for words.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that. So you wrote that after the fourth ceremony?
Yes, after the fourth ceremony.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the fourth ceremony was a lot for me. Like the yahe went down smoothly. I was consulted by God. I realized I was a bird. I was part of that spirit energy, and something told me to go outside.
Part of the heaven.
Yes, I went outside and I had my blanket around me in the rain, and I realized how beautiful I was.
Yeah.
I realized who I was. I realized my ancestry. They literally spoke to me, and I danced with them all night long in the rain. And it was a dance that my people had done for a very long time. And I was just completing that journey for them this time in this life. And it was just so beautiful. And the last purge that I had was unworthiness. I felt unworthy, I felt ugly, and I felt incapable of love. And to face yourself in that moment and to face that was very difficult. I had to have the courage to scream out that I am worthy over and over again until she believed it and until I believed it in the essence of my being. And I purged all of that out. And I remember my head was in the bucket and I just let go. And that's when I felt all of that. It was literally like lightning just hit me and everything made sense. It was like I saw the underbelly of everything. So the helix had unraveled and I understood the makeup of everyone and everything. And just the brotherhood and the connection and the light and the transcendence and the ability to ascend that we have. Yeah.
So once you let go of everything, you remembered.
I did. Once I let go of everything, I remembered. And then it was so crazy because I just sprinted.
Yeah.
I sprinted past the Maloka. I sprinted around the property. I fell into the dirt. I was holding it. I was praising God. I was crying. I was hugging trees. I remember hugging someone and scaring them to death because there was just so much love that I felt. I recognized desire and love and peace and patience and all of those things. And I just remember I literally danced for about 5 hours straight in the grass. I didn't care how I looked. I didn't care how I was perceived. And I was finally completely and utterly free.
Oh, so beautiful. So I guess we don't have to ask you. We know you got your miracle.
Yes. Yes. And I just want to say, though, it took me 2 years to save up for this trip. 2 years of sacrifice to get to this point. So if you feel like it's too expensive, it is not. It is worth it. And I felt weird because I hadn't seen many Black people on the Facebook Live, but we are here. We're just in small numbers, so you can come and join us.
There's people here from
yes.
all around
All
the
over
world,
the world.
all walks of life.
Yes.
We had a 70-year-old mother with her
Yes.
50-year-old son.
Yes.
There's
She's
19-year-olds,
yes.
husband and wife,
yes.
husband and husband.
Yes.
So
Everyone.
many people,
yes.
singles.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful.
It's
an
for
oasis.
everyone.
It is.
Yeah.
It's definitely a welcoming oasis.
Yeah. We're so happy to have you here. Yeah, so beautiful. Oh, Maiku, we love you. Hi, Chris. See so many familiar names. So I want to ask you, if there's someone watching that is on the fence or they're scared, or maybe they've heard about plant medicine, but they're thinking, I'm not sure if this is for me, what would you say?
I would say don't be afraid.
Yeah.
I would say don't be afraid. Don't think you don't have the money. Follow your heart. Because for me, it took praying about it.
Yeah.
And don't tell anyone that until you're ready, once you've made the decision. Because you don't want anyone to take away your joy. And this is I would say this is your process.
Yeah, if you're watching this, then maybe you're being called to be here.
Perhaps you're being called. And this is your process. And when the time comes, you will know. And it might be right now. And I would say, so just call them.
Yeah. And it's so important because, like you said, you watched all the videos, all the documentaries, but even after being so-called prepared, coming and doing this, you can't explain the unexplainable.
Right, you can't prepare. Like, that's the main thing.
And one thing that Christian always says is that the universe rewards bravery. So just showing up here in the essence of this place and drinking medicine is bravery. And so now you're being rewarded and you'll continue to be rewarded. Just stay connected and just let your light shine.
Thank you so much.
It was such a Yes, so as you guys can see, it was such a great week, and we're going to continue to have wonderful weeks, and I hope all of you guys join us. If you've been here before, then you know, and I hope that you all just continue to let your light shine so bright. So thank you again, and Titus Crew is here, and the energy was incredible. I think they'll all be back in February or March, but I think March, if you guys are interested in that. If not, there's so many other beautiful weeks before, so come and see us.
Thank you.
Thank you again so much, and thank you guys all for watching. Love you guys. We will see you soon. Next Saturday, we'll be doing more. I got my miracle shares, and until then, have a beautiful, blessed day. So fun. Thank you again so much for joining us.